Hello and welcome to Beyond the Frame Initiative. My name is Robyn and I'm here with my co-host,
Julie.
And Rachel.
and we are so happy to have you guys back today. So, ladies, what's got you up and what's got you down?
Kids.
It's
That's a great place to start. Julie, go for it. Take it away.
I would say that just wanting to give them everything, like when you're a purposeful parent, you just pour into them constantly. It's not like do you remember that show Married with Children, and Peg would sit around eating bonbons watching soap operas? It's not like that, right? Like if you're a purposeful parent, you're giving everything. You're giving your physical body, you're giving your emotions, since it feels sometimes like the dark crystal when they're sucking the essence out of people. Like I feel essence drained sometimes. I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. I love my kids. But it is very demanding on top of everything else. And yet they're also so cute and so sweet.
Rachel?
Yeah, same. I have one, and it's coming with some challenges as he's 10 now, and the challenges are changing. So that's got me down a little bit, trying to figure out how to steer the ship between the mountains and not let the ship smack into the sides, kind of thing. So it's got me down a little bit. What's got me up is we have a break coming up, so I'm pretty excited to do that, to break a bit, even though I still have coaching school and work and stuff. It does remove not having to do the morning thing and have the school thing there. Kind of does it relaxes me a little bit. So, and him too. So I'm looking forward to that. What about you, Robyn?
And I gotta agree. Something about not having to wake up and be like, "Are you putting your clothes on? What are you doing? Where's your sock? I thought you were brushing your teeth every single day." Something about taking a break from that just feels so good, but also a house full of 4 kids for almost 2 weeks sounds exhausting. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hot. It's going to be an adventure as always. I'm not even going to talk about the politics of the world because, my God, I'm just going to focus on just personally. I'm trying my best to find gratitude in the small things. And I always try to do this thing where I bank memories for when things get hard. So when I look at the baby, like I love the baby phase, and I try to bank those moments of her cuteness, and like you could barely talk and you're cooing and you're trying to crawl, because when she gets to about 2.5 to 3, I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it as a reminder to not go crazy. I try to find those moments to just hold on to, because you need them truly to get through the tough times. So that really kind of ties into what we're talking about. We're talking about motherhood. We're talking about trying to make sure we're okay when we're not really okay. And, there's this thing we do where we tell everyone we're okay, and somewhere along the way, we almost start to believe it ourselves. But coping looks different for all of us, and none of it is wrong. So I want to talk about like what's actually getting us through. So my first question is, when things feel really heavy, what's the one thing that genuinely anchors you? The thing that reminds you why you keep going? I'll start with Julie.
For me, really a lot of it is talking to God, just like focusing again on what's important and remembering that tomorrow is not promised. So just trying to find joy where I can in each day, especially when you've lost somebody you love very close to you. That's like the hardest storm to weather. So it reminds you like this too will pass. That kind of stuff really helps me. I mean, there's lots of other reasons, lots of other things too, but for sure that. How about you, Rachel?
I agree. I have a spiritual practice where it's more of a meditative sort of connection thing. So when things get really tough, I mean, I try to do this anyways, regardless. So having a spiritual practice for me helps me when things are tough, where my plane doesn't completely fall out of the sky, right? It's like, whoa, it just took a dip. So that does help. I also have I also ask for help when I'm starting to feel a certain sort of way. I ask for help. We live walking distance from the school, so it's nice because I've asked people to bring my kid home for me when I'm feeling overwhelmed. One thing that I used to do often that I don't do anymore, and I've been thinking about why I don't do it anymore, and it definitely has come. It's because I've been helping my mom on my half days, is going to the Korean spa every once a month. I don't live very far
Nice.
from me, right?
Very nice.
Love it. I was going monthly, and it was coming out to every 4 to 5 weeks. But that really did, I'd bring a book and I would go, drop my kid off and go from 9 to 1 and just spend hours there. It really did. it helped a lot. And I have noticed that I haven't been going, and I've noticed the impact of that over the last several months.
How
I
about you,
love
Robyn?
that. Honestly, I don't do enough of leaning on people, and that's going to be probably a lifelong thing that I have to work on, because there were things told, like, it's, how it's little things you tell your kid and you don't realize how it's going to manifest. And I remember hearing things like, you don't want to bother anybody. I don't want you bothering anybody. And I know it didn't come from a harmful place, but it hit me in a harmful way. And so
Mhm.
I always go into like, I don't want to bother people. People are already busy. You got your own kids, your own schedule, your own life, and it's a lie. And I don't want to be one more thing to add to that. And I wouldn't necessarily say I suffer in silence, because as an only child, I learned to cope on my own. And that can be a useful tool because you don't put all your stock in other people, but it also can be harmful because when you need community, you don't know. It's so hard to break that into like, be like, hey, can I put that on your plate without feeling an immense, like a bit of anxiety? That's my only child journey. I'm sure other only children don't feel that way, but I wasn't the only child who grew up like spending a lot of time with cousins. And, I didn't have that consistent community where I felt like when I need something, I can call you up and be like, I just need to release. I do it, but I don't, it's not my default. It's my default to kind of go inward, and I want to change that. I really, really do. And so a lot of times it's just taking time away from everybody because I'm home. So it's constantly something going on. It's constantly somebody calling my name, pulling on me, asking for something. So sometimes when Brandon's home, I'm just like, listen, I got to go. I got to either go for a walk. I got to go upstairs. Nobody come, hey, mom's taking a break. Nobody knock on the door. Don't ask me any questions. Dad's right there. Ask him. Like, that's really, I just say it just like that because I hope that I'm doing my children a service that one day, especially for the girls, like, it's okay to just be like, nope, can't do it. I literally just, I cannot, I don't have the capacity. And for me, for everyone, I need to step back, right? Because I find safety in being alone because I'm used to it. So it's a tricky question for me because it's a lot going on there.
Don't you guys find that this is a common thread in a lot of conversations? I mean, I think for probably everyone, I feel like a lot of these conversations I have are with women and specifically moms, where we always are trying to do everything ourselves. But I'm guessing that's across the board. I feel like there's a lot of masculine loneliness too. I feel like we're taught that you do stuff. You're supposed to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, right? Like you're supposed
Yeah.
to do everything, and community is so important, and leaning on people to do that too. I want people to lean on me. Like I feel better when I know I'm helping somebody, but it's hard to ask for it ourselves.
We live in such a hyper individualistic society that almost asking for help or not doing it yourself is deemed as a sign of weakness, and really does sort of lean into this patriarchal mindset. So I think that I made a cognitive decision to start asking for help when I was living in New York and I had a small child, and it really was like small things. I would have him he hated the stroller, so I always wore him, but I would go on the subway and I'm coming back with like, I have to have his like baby bag, and then I have like 2 bags from whatever grocery store that I'm at, and sometimes I would just put those bags down at the bottom of the stairs and be like, okay, gotta get the stairs, right? And someone would ask, like, can I help you? And in the beginning, I would be like, I felt uncomfortable, and then I asked, why do I feel uncomfortable? Where is this discomfort coming from? What would be the value if I said yes? And how could this help me if I say yes? Is this really taking from someone they're offering to help? And I started saying yes. Then I started taking a wheelie cart with me to get more stuff from the store so I don't have to go in 2 trips, and would sit at the bottom of the stairs, and they're great. People would either help me take it all the way up. And that is something I feel like that's very New York culture. I did that a lot when I saw that also, you would see somebody at the bottom of the stairs with a wheelie cart, either a mom or someone older or something, and you would just help them with their bag and help them with their stuff. And that small act of just saying yes when I really needed that, I think did start to help. But it's still hard. I still work with my therapist and ways to ways that I can find more space and time in my schedule has to work with saying yes to help.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise it's not gonna help. And I have to advocate and ask for myself, whether it's like, hey guys, in my family, I would like to take a bath tonight, and I'm gonna like, don't come in. Okay. I'm gonna need you just not come in. I'm more asking someone, hey, I'm pretty stressed out today. I had a really rough morning, and I asked my friend if they can bring my kid home today, and they said yes. Those little
Yeah.
minor things for me make a big impact. I have to remind
Yeah.
myself.
Agree.
When we're not
No,
stressed
agree.
out and our cup is full, then we can pour into our kids. I feel like I'm a way better mom, a way more cheerful mom when I'm not stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree with that. So, has this season of life, has it changed the way you see yourself or what you need? Like, have you had to get honest about something you used to ignore?
I mean, a season of life, I think of like being a mom. It's like
Oh, okay.
a
Yeah.
new season of life, right? Like before I had kids, because I'm an older mom, I had so much time for things. It was really easy to say yes to this and yes to that and still have time for myself. I think it's hard for me to check in with the reality of doing less because then I struggle, and I know it's wrong, but I struggle with guilt. Like, I'm not doing enough, especially with everything going on in the world. Like, there's so many areas to advocate, and I want to do that, but also trying to, and I do, but also understanding that I have to put a limit on what I say yes to is something I struggle with, and I got to work on that.
What about you, Rachel?
I've been trying to say yes more. I had friends that start working with a trainer for strength training 1 week, one night a week for 1 hour. And I was like, oh man, I'm in coaching school, getting my credential. I started like layering all the things, all my commitments as like as an individual and as a parent. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to snap in half, okay? I turned 50. I'm gonna go snapping in half or getting osteoporosis or something. So I said yes, and I've had feelings about saying yes. So for months now, once a week I go strength train with weights. I've never like bench pressed and lifted, and it's really fun with 3 other women. They're all parents as well, and our kids around the same age. We sit there but it's fun. Like we sit there, it's so heavy. The weights are so heavy. It's comical. We're like laughing, but we're doing it and we're getting stronger. So I'm trying to say yes more, but that is because I've been very intentional with the support that I have through coaching and through my therapist of like, I can't live like the way I've been living, which is just constantly giving and outpouring and giving and outpouring without filling up my own cup. And I still grapple with like feeling guilty of filling up my own cup, but I have started to say yes more. And I was also concerned that I don't want to have some sort of like, I don't want my partner to resent me, or I don't want my kid to feel like I'm not there enough or whatever. And it's these mental gymnastics that my mind does. And it's like, well, why would they? Where is that thought and limited belief in me coming from? Why wouldn't they not want to support me? And so far it's been okay. So that's this season I'm trying to say yes more and trying to be mindful that I am a human also, and that I need to also be supported and not only be the support. And it's been really challenging, but I've had the strength training thing was like a really big yes for me to say yes to.
Don't you guys feel too like when you do say yes more to yourself, like with weights, which is so great at this age, same thing, Rachel, like I'm doing it at home, more like the baby weights, but just
Right.
doing it, or like the yoga every other day, but just doing it. Don't you feel like you then all of a sudden wondrously actually have more time for the other stuff? It's like because you
Yeah.
have that energy and you've had that kind of downtime mentally to
I feel
just
lovely.
breathe. Yeah, it really, it's hard to say the yes to that, but when you do, you feel so much better.
I
I
agree.
mean, I still
I,
crack up, guys, okay? As you know, I still crack up and I have my days.
We all do.
But
no,
the cracking up, yeah, we all do. I'm helping my bounce. I think those things will help. They help the bounce back. They help the repair. They help the intent around the conversations after the cracking up and the rupture, you know?
I love that. I was gonna say for me, like especially like since the pandemic. Honestly, no, before the pandemic, my life took like a really big shift, and I experienced an intense loss twice in 2018 and early 2019, and something in me just, and when you lose somebody, it's devastating sometimes depending on the relationship. And I always tell people it's something in you that it's almost like you rewrite the code of who you are, right? Like it
Yeah.
informs something that changes you. And for a long time, I've been trying to find that girl, that woman again. And then the pandemic happened, and I had a baby in the middle of the pandemic, which was insane. And the last 5 years have been me nursing, pregnant, birthing. And so it's a lot, like to really like pull back on that and be like, I've been I've had 3 kids since our kids started school. Literally almost every other year I've had a kid, which is insane because I would look at someone and be like, you're crazy, but I'm living it. And so I was telling my husband the other day, I feel like I'm a great kid mom, but I'm looking at my daughters especially, and I'm like, I want to be a mom who's equipped to be a good teenage mom and grown-up mom. I want my kids to be able to look at me and say, not only did she tell me the things to do, but I seen her do it herself. And so I'm just in this season of trying to figure out how to give myself a reason to do for me so that I can be better for them, because their aging is not slowing down, right? And the season that I had for me, I don't think I used it as the best way that I could. And maybe that just wasn't meant for me at the time. I don't know. But now I feel like, okay, I have to get it done. And it's not just for me anymore. It's so that I can show them you can do hard things because I did a hard thing. Just not making excuses to show up for myself. Like basically echoing what you guys said, just in a different
Yeah.
way. And I was just wondering, have you found like there's an unconventional way that you find to kind of let off that pressure that you didn't expect?
Well, unconventional ways to let off steam is me walking around in a Korean spa naked. I love it. It makes me happy. It's a bunch of women, all different ages, all different bodies, all there for different reasons, young to older, and everyone in between. And I love that. And everyone, you can chat there naked in the hot tub, and then I love it. Or not, right? I love that. The weightlifting thing has been great because I feel like sometimes we do talk about like our grievances or what's been happening, whether it's like personally in the world, and that's been really helpful. And then I'm a coach, so in my coaching program, I've been going through like extra coaching when my triads and dyads, and I've been really able to like take like all my things, all my stuff, and to really start to unpack them, but from a coaching perspective, which is different than therapy, which is like, you're in the past and you're trying to figure it out. With coaching is like the present moment moving forward. So I feel like that's also, I think a lot of us don't really in my experience, a lot of people that I work with on a career coaching level, we really are hyper focused on like why things aren't working and what you don't want and where you've been and why that's made your life miserable at your job. And so it's nice to kind of pivot and really be constantly in this word of like, that's great, I'm glad you have that, but what do you want now, and how do you see that working in the future? What do you want for that, and what do you need to make that possible for yourself? We are our own experts of our own lives, right? Only us. And so I feel like those are my sort of unconventional things I've been doing. I think there's an advantage that I have because I've been going through this coaching program, but also just in the work that I do. But yeah, like to get naked with the ladies and strength training. That's been really fun for me. Yeah. I hike every
Julie?
week too. I go hiking here. Hiking's nice. Go
And
ahead,
you
Julie.
get out in
Yeah.
nature that way too, which is
Yeah.
really great. I don't really know that I have an unconventional way. I feel like so often I'm so busy that the ways I find ways to check in with myself are more where I can find the moments. Like love doing the yoga, love just breathing, just stopping. Even if any of us just stop and take nice 3 deep breaths, if that's just as simple as that, it really helps recenter us. But also probably limiting my social media. You guys know this. We've talked about this. I only have one social media platform, and I only can get it's Facebook, and I can only get it through logging in through my browser. And I feel like that helps maybe not give relief from the stress I might be feeling at the moment, but eliminate stress that I might take on because of my propensity to want to immediately advocate and the guilt I feel from that. So rather just focusing on what I can obtain from different news sources when I want to, in the time that I want to. So I guess that would be it. Otherwise, I used to do a lot of art, and that's something I want to get back to. It's kind of hard to do an oil painting in an apartment when you have 2 little kids, because if I was doing one and came home and found a hand smear across one of them, I don't know what I might do to my child. And I love my children. So I would like to get back to that at some point. But just, eating a piece of chocolate and drinking some tea, but in that moment, going, this is for me, makes a big difference versus me just chowing down the chocolate and drinking the coffee or tea because I need to, but just saying, this is for me in my head. That helps me remember that I'm checking in. How about you, Robyn?
I do love working out. Like there was a period before like in 2024 where I was a Planet Fitness opened up near me, and I was like, I'm not making excuses. I'm showing up. I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I would go and work out till 6 or 6:30. And it was so good for me. It just made me feel so balanced. And like, I felt like that was my thing just for me so that I could be better for everybody. And I 100% like believe in that. Like working out. I don't know if you guys remember Abs of Steel and Buns of Steel. My mom used to have the
Yes,
tapes, and I would sneak
I did
in
Buns
her
of Steel.
room. I would sneak in her room and put the VHS in and do it. I've been like, I just love exercise. I love how it makes me feel afterwards. So for Christmas, I bought like this little at-home karaoke. It's like this little teeny karaoke machine, and I bought it for the kids, but I also kind of bought it for myself. And so I put on YouTube karaoke videos. I try to like throw in some classics. I was trying to teach myself the words to Through the Fire by Shaka Khan. And one day I couldn't do it because I had to pick up the baby. The kids picked up the microphone and started singing, and I could have cried. I was so touched, but it just makes me feel so good. I think anything that feels like a little bit of a performance just kind of, it just like energizes me so much. So that's like a fun thing, and they get to learn some good stuff. So that would definitely be my unconventional thing. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, I think like this was a good podcast. It was a really good podcast. I hope that someone's hearing this and can feel seen or heard or encouraged to go out and find ways to bring themselves happiness, especially during these crazy times. And obviously that's not limited to motherhood. It's womanhood, it's malehood, it's teenagehood, it's all of it. It's everybody needs some place to let off. And in this country, we do not take mental health seriously enough. And unfortunately, that's probably why we're in times that we are in now, because no one was willing to check it and be like, hey, you need to talk to somebody because you're acting real off the hinge and I'm worried for you. So basically, like in closing, I just wanted to say sometimes, the bravest thing we do is showing up. Like even when we're running on empty and telling the world we're fine, for anyone who has ever held it together on the outside while quietly fighting it out on the inside, you are so not alone. You are seen, you are felt, you are heard, and you never know how sharing your experience can then help someone else. So I hope that anybody who's a part of our community, if you have someone in your life who needs to hear it, but not from you, that you share it with them, that they hear this message, that they get something from this, unless there's something else. This has been wonderful. And until next time, please, please, please share it with another. Find us on Instagram. You can email us at our website, but whatever you do, please stay in touch. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Frame Initiative podcast. You can email us at info@beyondtheframeinitiative.com and receive a free facts over feeling sheet and more helpful links at our website. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast, and we'll see you soon.